a lot of things that this got me thinking about differently. And I know you guys have a lot of nuggets as well. So definitely want to hear from you first and foremost. Go to what you've highlighted, go to what stood out, what jumped off the pages at you guys anywhere in what we've been covering so far. What do you have? Go, Ryan.
Page 186, it said decisiveness is critical in establishing credibility as a leader. A speedy, well thought out decision backed by logic, gut instinct, and a willingness to take personal responsibility for the outcome inspires confidence in those that you're leading. Additionally, being decisive illuminates other attributes such as courage, discipline, awareness that reinforce uh, confidence. Conversely, appearing indecisive creates doubt. Uh, I thought that was a pretty poignant uh, couple sentences there. I thought a lot of times then it goes into the rest of the chapter. It'll talk about being decisive at not taking an action as well. So even if you have paralysis by analysis, you're still making a decision. So it's understanding and grasping the concept of being decisive in your choices that you're making, but not dwelling on them and actually either acting or choosing not to act.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part because paralysis through analysis will tell you you're making a decision while you're just kicking the can down the road. And as you said in there on 186, indecisiveness creates doubt. Indecisiveness undermines your leadership. So even if you are going to pause and not make a decision, announce that that's what you're doing. We are taking a pause. I mean, there was so much misinformation and story bouncing around about the NAR stuff. And many people in, quote, leadership roles at other companies were kicking the can down the road, not sure what to do, especially at your independent, smaller brokerages. And we had our leadership saying, pause. Let's see how things shake out. Pause. There's appeals going. And now, as we are in the moment of having to choose how we're going to deal with it, decision, here's how, and here's why that is our decision. That purpose behind it gives it all the credibility in the world. So, two distinct decisions. One was the no decision. Let's see how the environment changes. And then the decision, now where we know we're going, here's how we're going to do it. Let's move forward. So love those sections and what that brought to us, and that leadership builds, that decisiveness builds the team. Everybody feels more comfortable in it. What else you guys have?
I love that part and the way Ryan described it. Another part or another aspect of that is the leader that came back, negotiated one change and says, well, this is what they say, they relented on this. It doesn't show alignment and it doesn't show leadership. It shows I'm pointing the finger, not the buck stops here. And I think it was at the very end of the chapter. I'm listening to it, so I don't know what page it was on, but at the very end of the chapter, they choose whether they follow you. Right? It's a choice whether someone follows you. So indecisiveness, flip-flopping, we're hearing a lot of that word lately, things like that, being indecisive or not owning what you do causes people to not have maybe the faith, the confidence, and the choice to follow you.
Yeah, Sherry, yeah, you shifted right into the next chapter, accountability, which is part of that decisiveness as well. They go hand in hand, and accountability means owning everything. And as you described, a mid-level manager saying, well, senior leadership said this is the way it is, so this is the way it is not accountability.
No.
It's pointing,
Pointing the finger.
telling leadership the underlings think this, not accountability. You truly owning it no matter what. And so one of the things I want to do at this moment, because it was important to me, and I want to be able to take this piece and isolate it and maybe even put it in workplace. Because we absolutely have people around us who are great leaders, and we also have people around us who aren't. And that means right here in this company. And it was the leadership roll up. And I want to put this in the room. One thing that I learned during my military career is that when it comes to being in charge, there are generally two kinds of people: drivers and leaders. By the way, I say managers and leaders. It's management or leadership. Back into it. Drivers see their organization or team as a mechanical system, and they consider the people they're in charge of to be parts, buttons to push, levers to pull, pedals to press. Because they believe their vision is the most important one or the only valid one, they exert control through heavy-handed direction and overt manipulation, sometimes with rewards, but more often with punishments. If one of those parts doesn't perform as demanded, it's replaced without a second thought. There is no empathy because parts are expendable. No one mourns the worn-out brakes on their car. Drivers might get results for a while, maybe even a long while if they churn through enough parts. But like any overworked and poorly maintained mechanical system, the gears eventually begin to grind. Depersonalized workers become demoralized subordinates. No one follows a driver. They're being pushed instead. Leaders are different. All types of leaders. Parents and siblings, commanding officers and CEOs, presidents and priests, athletes and office managers have one thing in common: they inspire. People follow leaders willingly, eagerly, because leaders motivate and influence. They might instruct, but they do not dictate. Encourage, but not manipulate. People perform at their best for leaders, not because they were ordered to, but because they want to. Leaders are able to inspire because they have high levels of most of the leadership attributes: empathy, selflessness. That word always runs me ragged. Authenticity, decisiveness, and accountability. You already know that, and you have always known that. Even if the concept was never broken into these specific components, just think of the people you considered leaders in your own life. You can see those attributes clearly. You don't need to have exceptional level of all five. You don't need to be perfect. Anyone who's been in charge understands that that's an impossible standard. That's precisely why accountability and empathy are key. Effective leaders understand the effect of their mistakes on others and take responsibility. At times, leadership might even require briefly behaving like a driver. And that will be okay. When leaders inspire and influence, they also build trust, nurture confidence, and earn respect. Remember, other people decide whether you're a leader and whether they will follow, because leadership is a behavior. Develop it and become one. Guys, this absolutely has been a charge of mine and will continue to be. I'm at a place in my world, in my life, that I saw 12, 18 months ago that I was an excellent doer. I can lead gen, I can recruit, I can build, and yet I still was struggling with getting running buddies. Something I aspire to have, running buddies to build this and grow and change your lives as well. And again, to the accountability piece, I knew that it started with me, that I was falling short in this leadership piece. So I'm continuing to work on this. I know many of you are as well. I love this leadership section. Back to you guys. What else you got, Ryan? I saw the hand go.
So I'm going to challenge everybody in this room. that we all have leadership qualities, especially if you are, whether you're running a team or you're a solo agent, you are still leading people through the real estate transaction. And if you feel like you are not a leader, then I would reread what he just spoke about. Like, you're the CEO of your own damn business. So you got to take, the buck stops with you guys, and the buck stops with me with what we're trying to generate. And like what Coach Russ is trying to develop in all of us, it speaks, like, it just hits me right in the feels right now. Like, take accountability and run with it and grow who you want to become. And like, to me, that's really powerful to know if we're taking ownership, taking accountability, and being decisive in what we're doing. We are setting the standard to be better in our industry, in our genre, comparatively speaking to the rest of the agents. And I applaud all of you. Now, how do you apply it for yourselves?
And this carries into every aspect of your life. I don't care how old your kids are. Are you being a driver? Or are you being a leader? Even with adult kids, man, I still get to grow in that space and be a leader. And I remember just what a dictator I could have been previously. I'd never admit to it. Celeste, I saw your mic come hot. What do you got?
I'm thinking of my business and how I work with my sellers. And I find myself walking in with an understanding of my job is to make sure that they get their home sold. That's number one. But that's not my goal. My goal is to give them an opportunity to raise their value as much as possible. So when we're speaking and I talk very clearly about my goals with them, I'm asking them, are they wanting the same? So it's funny because I never thought of myself as, well, maybe I have. I was going to say, I haven't thought of myself as a leader because I feel of the way I see myself as I am a doer. I'm here to get the job done. So is that leadership? I think it is. It's just my verbiage is different. And the way that I see it, I cannot understand why any seller isn't saying, please help me. Let me be the one that helps them. Because I come to the table with all kinds of things. You know, I've got questionnaires, I have forms that I have them fill out, I have software that keeps them in the loop on what's going on. I mean, most people, if they saw all the tricks that I have in my bag, they would be like, I don't know who else does this. And I love what I get to do. I really love what I get to do with people. And I'm thinking I now have to my new verbiage is, how do I translate that into attraction?
The attraction piece becomes much more a leadership piece. Even more so, because really, yes, with consumers, we are looking to bring followers as consumers, yet they only see themselves, and a lot of times we, and I'm working with you guys on changing this, only see them as transactional. It truly isn't a life of leadership. What we're building with attraction is we desire, again, at least in my corner of this world that I'm building, everyone I'm talking to here, I expect you to kind of have the same feeling. Dictator, got to be a driver, even in those small moments. That we desire lifelong relationships of mutual leadership. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Andres, for Ryan, for Kim, for Celeste, for everybody in this room. Carrie, man, that door is open, my dear. You know that. To step in and begin being the leaders I know you all are. And let's run. How much fun would that be? Man, mics are hot. I love it. So, Andres, we haven't heard from you in forever. Go. And then I've got Doug and Jeanette. Boom, boom. And Ryan, you're coming in as well. Go.
If I made was part of a team in San Diego for 12 years, running a warehouse, over $2 million of supply. And I never saw myself as a team leader. Never saw myself as the warehouse manager or anything like that. And when you put that into perspective now, it's kind of great to see that those guys follow me, listen to me, comply with me in every aspect of the way without me asking anything of them at any point. I saw myself as part of the team, not being the leader of the team. And when I went back to visit San Diego earlier this year, I went back and saw them. I still have great relationships with them. And the one thing that they said to me was like, "We miss you around here. We miss the environment. We miss working with you." And that put a nice touch to me. And yesterday I met with a client, a buyer, my first buyer, and I was talking to her, building a relationship with her. And the one thing she said after we were done is like, "You do not make this feel like a transaction. I'm thankful that you are working with us because you just became part of our family. The way we're working, the way you are interacting with us, the way you're going through the details. This is exactly what we envision of working with someone, and I'm grateful for the way you are." So I thought I'd share that.
Awesome, brother. And yeah, you absolutely have such leadership innate tools in your belt, and can't wait to watch those shine on this platform. Jeanette, since your mic's hot, you get to go before your husband. How much fun is that?
Well, thank you. I really appreciated the. Where did you just read from?
That was the leadership wrap up at the end, right after chapter, I believe it is 21. I'll go
Okay.
right to it here
The
in the
roll
book
up.
and go page 197. And I did it, man, because I've got a unique position that I get to see behind the curtain on the administrative side of our company.
Mhm.
And we all get to get better.
Let's
So what do you-
listen.
what do you wanna
What kind
share?
of secrets do you have?
What?
What kind of secrets do you have? I want to hear this.
Again, we all get to get better. That's the secret. So, Jeanette, you wanted to comment on that last section, though. So please do. And then we're going to get to Doug.
Well, there wasn't too much to comment on. It was impactful. It was complete. And I wanted to be able to read it again. So you said that's chapters or pages.
Right after
197.
21, it's going to be page 197 in the book.
Okay. And, realizing choosing decisiveness and accountability. And the thing is, every time we come in here, we'll see an attribute and we'll desire it more. But then the needs keep coming back, and you get to choose them again and again. But the decisiveness of choosing it changes and improves, and that's the benefits of being here. It's the benefits of being here, because it's not a one and done and then you forget about it. It keeps coming back and hitting you in the face, and you see the attributes through the books that we've read in a whole new way.
Amen. Amen. And as Ryan keeps pushing to, we get to now take just a nugget and implement it. It's not all of it. It's just what is hitting you in the moment, and we're going to implement. It's going to be so much fun for me, by the way, this December when we read Radical Leap again, because that's a December read for me every year. This January when we read Ninja Selling again, and what's different in your life going through that content a second time for those that were part of it last time. Part of growing is continuing to tackle the fundamentals. By the way, same with part of leadership. So, Doug, you are on, my friend.
Two things. One thing for Celeste, you have really mastered the art of listing and selling real estate at a very, very high level. You're building the mastery of agent attraction, and that's why that feels so uncomfortable. And that's all you're going to be doing is building systems, building understanding. And as that understanding and systems and knowledge grows, you'll be just as good at agent attraction as you are at listing. So keep at it. Don't feel a little discouraged.
Hey, Doug, can I channel my inner Celeste for the moment?
Yes.
But I want it now.
We all do. I do too. I'm in complete agreement, Celeste.
Ain't that the truth?
The other one, Jeanette was in a Zoom call the other day with the head of our Austin Board of Realtors. And they were talking about, of course, this transition that we're going to be doing here in the next couple of weeks. And what stood out to me was how amazing she recognized the leadership that EXP has taken in this, in that we had developed our forms way ahead of everybody else. We were paying attention to what's going on, and we were making changes as the situation developed. And that the Texas Realtors had developed forms, but we had also developed forms, and we had forms that they didn't have. So it was an interesting conversation to see that the leadership that stands out in EXP, whereas other brokerages were just standing and waiting for the Austin Board of Realtors to kind of tell them what to do. So I thought that was an amazing experience to see the industry as a whole recognizing what EXP is doing. That was encouraging.
The leaders as a whole see what we're doing to help lead. And the rabble rousers below are just making up stories, stirring the pot, not understanding that that's exactly what we're doing. And by the way, a lot of times leaders get misunderstood. In the moment, people don't realize just how magical what they're doing is. And then again, down the road, all of a sudden, we see it. So just keep leaning into your leadership as well as observing others. Caesar, I saw your mic go up, brother. What do you got?
Yeah, I wanted to point out the decisiveness in the decisiveness chapter. And it reminded me of a movie. And if you guys ever seen it, it's called Margin Call. Amazing movie, right? And there's a problem that arises. And then it was great to see the leadership, each leadership level, like, okay, oh shit, I got a call. And then the guy calls like Kevin Spacey. And it's like 11 o'clock. It's like, no, you got to come to the office now. And it's like the decision he made right away. And then the leadership continued going up the level until they reached the Jeremy Irons character, who's like the top level guy. And then it's like an amazing view of leadership, of where he calms everyone down. He tells the subordinate, the analyst, talk to me like I'm 4 years old. Trust me, it's not the brains that got me here. Everything's calmed down. And the decision was made right away that he basically wanted to sell. Shit. That he wanted to sell.
We all have phones ring. It's okay.
Yeah, that he wanted to sell them, but it was the point I wanted to make is that decision that in the book, since I'm driving, I don't know exactly the wording. Movement is key, right? The best decision you can make is the right one. The second best is the wrong one, but the worst is like not doing anything. And it's like those scenes are a great example of that. Like they moved all the leadership, and then it's just cool to see it in the scene. It just reminded me of it, and I just wanted to point that out to tie it with the book.
Well, and Ryan put that quote from Teddy Roosevelt in the chat. The best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing you can do is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing. It's why, Ryan preaches and I do just take action. Just get on the phones, make calls, have conversations. I don't care how bad you screw them up. Not doing it is the worst thing, which we see time and time again in our industry. Get out there, knock doors. Get out there and stand on the moving box aisle at Home Depot Friday and Saturday and talk to people that are buying moving boxes. Whatever it looks like, take action. And by the way, this is every aspect of our life. If there's something going on in the family, take action. Something going on with friends, take action.
You know, I have the privilege of being ahead on reading, and I'm reading already into this next book, Fanatical Prospecting. And everything we're discussing right now is in that book. And I listen and I think to myself, get out of your way and just do it. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. And I feel like I just totally needed to hear this, because I work, I do, but am I doing the right thing? Or I'm doing busy work? I should be doing the prospecting. That's it. Prospect, 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 and rinse and repeat. And it's a great book. It's an easy listening. You can't find yourself but saying, uh-huh. Yeah, everything about it. Uh-huh. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead here, but I just have to say this conversation leads me to thinking about that book.
So I'm thinking actually we'll be into that book next Monday. So like 9 days from now, that's the plan. So Maria, we probably should launch that and start getting marketing that. I think we can definitely wrap this one up by the end of this week or end of next week. And let's get more people in here, especially with this shift in the market. Learning how to do that work is going to be critical. So, all right, boys and girls, it's Friday. I was excited that I could be here with you today. Kind of entertaining for me when I said I wasn't.
Did did your flight come in early?
No, I actually am doing some rearranging. So we got to Atlanta last night, which was hubbing, and we'll see what happens from here. So staying in one of my favorite places in Atlanta. Great to get in here. So it was interesting anyway for me that some people who normally show up on the accountability call didn't show up. Some people we're looking at here didn't show up.
I was working. I was meeting a photographer this morning at 7.
Well, I appreciate that, Celeste. We've missed you in that room, by the way. So I'm excited to get you back plugged in.
I love you guys too.
Yeah. And I just want you guys to know, man, even if I'm not there, I'm still paying attention. I'm still watching once in a while. Even if I don't think I'm going to be there, if things work like they did today, I'm going to be here with you. So you guys keep showing up, being the leaders, running the rooms. Friday, Freedom Fridays, 2 to 5 o'clock. There's going to be some role play. We have enough people. Doug and Jeanette are doing a great job being there every single day, cranking that out. And role playing these conversations on recruiting might be helpful. And then actually getting into real play in the afternoon and having those conversations to change the financial trajectory of your life.